Okay, hello everyone. It's a very belated video this week, but hey, better late than never. I'm just going to dive right into it here. The market is churning away as I speak. The US has just opened. It's 2:30 here in Ireland, so yeah, that's about 9:30 over there. So we'll start with euro dollar and we'll see what's happened so far today. First of all, I'm going to concentrate on the 4-hour chart here, just to kind of orientate us to what's likely the scenario right now. So far we have this nice 3-wave rise off the low labeled wave 1. So I'm still counting that as a 5-wave down. The only kind of mitigating factor here would be this 4th wave here, which is, it's labeled as a running flat, but the reason for that is because off the end of that running flat we have a clear 5-wave structure to the downside. So right now that is the only kind of glitch in our armor right now. So I think we have a 5-wave pattern to the downside, labeled wave 1, and so far we have a 3-wave pattern to the upside, labeled wave 2. What we're looking for here is a clear break, probably of the previous wave B here. That will kind of shift things to the downside again. And we've got on the 4-hour chart, we definitely have a move off extreme readings in momentum. So I suppose over the next day or two, it's going to be a case of watching this hopefully impulsive decline develop. So we'll get into the short-term chart and see what we have going on here. I have an alternate count here, which is just as likely as the operating count right now. I've shown 5 waves down to complete wave 1 in pink. That could as likely be wave 1 in brown. So it could be as likely 1 degree higher than what I've shown it here as. And in fact, if it was 1 degree higher, it would kind of it would allow for clearer counting as we go forward. So either way, I think we still have 5 waves down and a possible 3-wave expanded flat here in a wave 2. And so far we've had this morning or this afternoon, once the US session opened, euro dollar sold down, so the dollar is gaining strength again. If we have a break of support here, 118.07 is what first level I was talking about, and then the previous wave B, as I mentioned, which was here at 117.13. So 117.13 being the more important level at the moment. So I think over today, if we get a break of this, we're looking definitely a definite maybe, as they used to say. We want to start moving out of this kind of holding pattern here. We've held in this kind of range here for the last over a week now. So it's time to start kind of pushing to the downside and develop an impulse wave to the downside. Okay, so that's euro dollar. So let's go to pound dollar. Pound dollar has kind of made more effort to kind of get off the highs of late. So in general, what I'm counting is the completion of wave 4 up here at 136.50 something, 54 probably. I think it's probably just slightly higher than that. Wave 1 down, a 3-wave correction, wave 2. So far we've sold down off that high in wave 2, and let's get down to the short-term chart to see what that looks like. The chart doesn't do this justice now, but the wave C of 2, it was an extended 3-wave pattern with an extension in wave C. So we had 3 waves up in A, possibly 3 waves down in B, and then 1, 2, a wave 3, expanded flat wave 4, and a normal impulse into wave 5, which completed. And at that point, we've kind of got this drift to the downside, even though it's sold off, 170 or 180 points into the low. We've definitely got a formation of 3s rather than impulse moves to the downside. This morning we had a nice, I think I'll get in there into the 30-minute chart off the. See, and read this a little bit better. So, yeah, this morning we've had a nice impulse move again to the downside, but this seems to kind of complete an overall 3 waves here off wave 2, the high labeled wave 2. So I want to see again push down through this kind of band of resistance, or sorry, band of support here, 133.37, 133.21. And the reason that they are important is these are the previous 2 highs of this internal wave B and the internal higher degree wave A. So a very tight kind of a band of support, which would, if it were to give way, would definitely add to the case that we have a significant high in place. So 132.20 is the previous one, wave 4 there, internal wave 4 of C. I hope you're following me on this, but again, that level would kind of tilt. A break of that level would increase the momentum to the downside. So what I'm tracking here is a kind of an extension of 5 waves. Wave 1, 2 in pink, an extension in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly in another wave 3 pink. Again, this can be read at a higher degree, just like euro dollar. We could be talking about bracketed labels here and a kind of an internal subdivision to the downside. I think we'll have to wait until the end of today to see how this, to see if this pattern unfolds anymore in a bearish kind of in a bearish setup. So for now, I want to see definitely this wave 2, as I said last night. This wave 2 must hold, and I would say at this stage, this internal wave 2 here must hold at that level, which is get in there. I think it's 134.81 or thereabouts. You'll have to check that on your own chart. So pound dollar and euro dollar, we're sitting on the fence right now. It's easy to do that, isn't it? And we have some significant kind of support levels that need to be broken in order to kind of to turn to complete the kind of this shift to the upside that we've had in corrections, these corrective rises, excuse me, and to kind of to kill that momentum and to change the pattern to the downside. Overall, I'm still looking for these 2 markets to turn down in a big way. It takes time. I frustrate myself sometimes in the amount of time that I take to kind of to jump on a trade. But for myself, I try and try and try to overanalyze and undertrade, if that can make sense to you. I would rather spend time investing in preparing rather than, you know, picking up the pieces afterwards. I've done that too many times, and from now on, you know, I'm older and wiser, and I know that there'll always be time to trade. It's just worth waiting for the right time, and I think we're very close on these 2 markets in euro dollar and pound dollar, and I think, yeah, give it a couple of days. I think we might find a nice opportunity in the coming week. Should this short-term bearish pattern hold up? Okay, let's move on to dollar yen. Dollar yen has moved in our favor a little bit better over the last week or so. So I have been counting this 5 waves move up off the low and a possible completion of wave 2. Now there's also an alternate count that we have an A, B, C wave 2 completing, which would be kind of like a sharp move down in A, corrective move up in B, and then a 5 wave move down in C. So that would be like an expanded flat type of wave 2 there. But I don't know. I think the way that market gapped up in the overnight on Monday night, Sunday night, it definitely speaks to a kind of an unfolding bullish pattern. But we will wait and see. We had a tip through that previous wave 4 resistance there, and now we're kind of holding on or at or above that. I think this slight decline will, this pattern here will unfold in 3 waves within a wave 2 pink. So far this morning, we've had a pretty clear 3-wave rise, so that's counter trend. So I think we'll have a 5-3-5 to kind of contend with to complete wave 2. We're probably looking at around 112.20 to finish that, and then we'd have a complete 1-2-1-2 pattern, which would be very bullish in my book, and definitely one to watch and one I'm watching. And a break of that, an impulsive break of that 113.09 high will definitely, I mean, I'll be putting on my bullish mask at that point, most definitely. Alrighty, let's move on to stocks. What have we got? Well, I can't really count any developing pattern off the high at the moment. I think I've done my work in the extended nature of this wave 5 green. So why don't we just go through that off the previous low of the 8th of September there. So we had a completion of a triangle in wave 4 green, and now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 3. Pick that up a little bit. ABC, expanded flat ABC, wave 4, and now 1, 2, an internal wave 3, which extended 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, an expanded flat ABC, wave 4, pink, and now a real blow off top to the upside, wave 5. Off that, I mean, that's extension after extension after extension, and I realize that, and it can get frustrating at times. But the size of this rally will directly compare to the size of the bear market, and I have not changed my mind on that one single iota. In fact, at this moment in time, I think we could probably begin to start counting 5 waves down again. We have a few levels of support which need to be drawn attention to, and if we get a 5-wave move to the downside and we start breaking previous supports, you know, it'll take 1,000-point fall in order for, you know, significant support at the previous wave 4 to break. So that's 23, you know, 250 or so, like that, or that 23 250 or so. So if we get a clear impulse move, 5 waves down, followed by 3 waves up, like this 3 waves correction, if this is the high and we get 5 waves down, this 3-wave correction will be severely bought, I think, because the initial move down won't break the bullish spirit just yet. It will take a corrective, kind of corrective rally, and a severe corrective rally, and a sharp corrective rally, followed by a turn again to start changing some bullish minds at the moment. You know, the overextended and over bullish nature of investors right now, it's going to be a hard one to break. So, but the market will break it. there has never been a human that has withstood, you know, the force of the market. So eventually we will get the turn. I think we keep inching closer and closer and closer to that final all-time high that people will remember, their grandkids will remember. And when we do get the turn down, when we do get the initial 5 waves down and a 3-wave correction and a completion of an impulse move off the high, well, then we're talking, we may well be in business. And this morning, you know, I've gone out on a limb and I've said that we've probably seen the high, but We shall see. This morning's yesterday's sell-off and this morning's corrective move high, and further declines already again this morning. It's like an initial kind of signal that the market may be sending that we could be seeing something develop here. It's just up to me to kind of stay on top of it and see if we get a reasonable larger degree signal off the high. So I'm talking about a completed 5 waves down in blue labels and a 3-wave recovery, lower high, and probably momentum signals as well on top of that. Alrighty, so let's move on to gold. So far, the decline in gold has worked out okay. The 5-wave pattern in wave C. Well, let me go to the 4-hour chart just to show you where I'm sitting on this market. So I think we had a 3-wave move down in wave A. I think we've had a possible 3-wave move in B, and now we're looking at a 3-wave move in wave C. Well, A, B, and C. So we have 3, 3, and 3. So it'll be a complex correction to the downside in wave 2, which is not unseen or not uncommon. So let's get into the short-term chart here. It's an hourly chart. I think we could be nearing the completion of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 waves down. Of course, this can always change. There is an alternative count that I'm looking at that also has a possibility, but for the moment, I think this has worked out quite well. This interpretation of a kind of a flat wave C, blue is what I'm talking about here. So we have kind of like a nice trend channel going on, a trend channel which was very useful in the completion of that internal wave B, and a larger trend channel which may prove very useful as well in the completion of this wave C. So that kind of speaks to a kind of a flat correction to me. So we've got 3, 3, and possible 5 waves completing, and which could also be, I suppose it's a distinction without a difference. This can also be viewed as 3 waves down, which would just add a kind of an extra layer of mystique to this decline. So we're still targeting, below 1260. We're sitting on about 1268 at the moment. So we have kind of between 1260 and 1255. We might get an overshoot to the bottom, and then we'll see if the base starts building again, and which might offer us another opportunity to get in here. I'm already in gold for a long time, so this kind of I might add to positions if which I did recently, but if the opportunity arises itself, I might add to positions again. So that's gold. Let's move on to crude. Okay, so crude oil. Let's get rid of that little boy there. Crude oil seems to be completing a flat correction in wave 4 blue. We're operating at quite a high degree here, so the next rally up, should we see it, should be significant enough. We're talking about 1,300 points, 1,200 points, something like that in wave 5 blue. And if we get the opportunity, if there's a nice impulse move off the low with a higher low and a kind of a swing in momentum as well, which is actually the short-term momentum is already swinging, we might see a nice opportunity here develop to the upside, which could definitely, it might even make your year. So for the moment, we have a complete wave 3 in blue. We have 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up, clear 3 waves up in B, and now a possible 5-wave move to the downside in wave C. We'll see. I mean, this 5-wave labeling could also be taken as a 3 waves, depending on how this develops over the next day or so. Probably, maybe at the end of Wednesday's session, into Thursday morning, we might see this complete. So for the moment, we have a nice possibility of a flat correction in wave 4 developing in crude, and it'll be one to watch over the next couple of days towards the end of the week, because if we see a nice impulsive structure to the upside, it will offer us a definite bullish opportunity to ride wave 5 up, which I have a target up around I think it's about $70 at the moment. Minimum 63 to 65, but I think we're probably talking about $70. If we take wave 1 here and we extend it from the low of wave 4, well, that'll give us definitely a 65, but the larger target definitely remains up around $70. So we're still talking between 600 and 1,000 points. So this wave 5 up will be one to watch, developing over the with an entry point developing over the next couple of days. Anyway, that is me for this afternoon's video. I hope you found that interesting, and we will chat to you tonight with the nightly update. Thanks, guys, and enjoy your day.